just want to know, when did everything become so physical so fast? Let's get into it. Back with another therapy session because we don't have a real licensed therapist. Again, I have mentioned to my therapist cousin to therapize me, but she says she cannot. So I resort to the girls' room. So during this dating journey I'm on, I'm just realizing, or it's not a new realization, it's just annoying to see and experience dating through and almost exclusively through physical touch. There are multiple love languages out there, as we know, but it seems like physical touch is something that is like a prerequisite to any relationship. And whether that's, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, whatever it is, I don't know, situationship, it's like I've had so many conversations over the past couple of years. Some people have shifted their mindset, but I've had conversations where I've had friends tell me that I'm being unrealistic and that I'm looking for the 5% of men that are willing to wait. And I'm totally okay with that because I don't want everybody. I want the right person. I know that I'm out here and I know what I'm looking for, what I have to offer, and what I am compromising. And not even just compromising, because the physical touch at this point is just like second nature. Like, there are moments where I still have to abide by my boundaries when my flesh does not always want to. And I'm like, ooh, okay, that sounds good. But I have rules that I know that I really want to follow based off of experience and also just where I want to go. Like, I want to actively pursue discipline and continue to do it. So now I think I'm really at the stage where my mindset's just very much different. Like, it's felt renewed, and it's not hard for me to not have my mind in the gutter at all. I don't immediately think, oh, I've never even been this person that would just think, oh, I want to smash. Okay, whatever the kids are saying. But a lot of people aren't like that. It's reminding me of this conversation I had with a couple girlfriends maybe like a year or so ago. And I was telling them that I thought this guy was really cute, and we all knew the guy. And it's just kind of one of those little crushes. You don't really know him that well, but whatever. And I was just saying, yeah, I think he's cute, and I'm kind of crushing on him a little bit. And they're like, oh, so you want to beep? You want to, have sex with him, essentially. I'm like, that didn't even cross my mind. Like, it actually didn't. I was just thinking, oh, no, like, maybe a date or something, like get to know the person. I don't want to jump in to bed or wherever to do that off top ever. It doesn't even sound fun. It doesn't, and I'm so happy that I am here with that mindset right now. Everyone has their own journey. It's just a personal thing for me that I just know myself. That's something that would give myself the ick, because I'm so much more and you are so much more than your body, and everyone knows that. It's so weird that we're kind of like constantly living and pushing the delusion that soul ties don't exist and that you can just have, sex without feelings, especially as women. It's like, come on, let's not lie. And recently I had this like kind of flag on the play with this person I just met, because I'm on this journey. I'm talking, I'm hanging out. Let me just light this candle and let it be a mood. Let me set the mood. But yeah, I'm on this dating journey, and I ran into someone and just started having an honest, open, refreshing conversation. We got into like surface, at least, like politics and the fires that just happened. So we're just kind of talking about life and values and introducing ourselves to each other. And it is nice to have that like openness and willingness to just have a conversation that there are no expectations. And I think that it's so hard sometimes for men and women to have expectation-less conversations. I think that there is this like natural expectation or natural instinct to go into put your best foot forward mode when you meet someone of the opposite sex. It's like, especially while you are dating or looking to date or looking to marry, there's this like weird pressure almost to just be your best self. Not always, especially if you're like completely unattracted to the person. And anyways, I ran into someone, we had a great conversation. I don't know how long it lasted, but I know that the sun went down and it was just like very seamless and easy. No pressure, at least on my end. Like there were moments where I was like, the way you're looking at me indicates something. But sometimes I think that anyways. I'm like, oh, he's in love with me. No baby, whatever. My brain wasn't there. And I, not even trying to give anyone a heads up, but am being very vocal, especially if we're having open and honest conversations about who I am, what my values are. Like, I do go to church every Sunday, unless I'm out of town, and sometimes I'll find a church out there. Like, I do like to read. I'm reading a lot of money books right now. I'm trying to get in my money bag right now. I am ambitious and like love a challenge, and I like to be honest, and it just kind of flows out. Sometimes I have word vomit. Sometimes I'm talking a lot about a certain value that may be a little political or may be a little controversial. And in moments I'll stop myself and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if you're ready for that. I don't know how woke you are. But I am not being passive. And I'm choosing, especially this year, this New Year's resolution, or just like me really embracing myself, I'm being actively assertive and unapologetically me. My motto is, the way Kanye loves Kanye is how I'm gonna show up in any space. And sometimes I gotta remind myself, I'm like, no, this is who you are, and that's that. And so this is how I'm showing up to conversations, still being mindful of where I'm at, who I'm talking to a degree, and where the conversation's going. But I was certain the conversation was not going physical, because there was zero indication that I am that person. I'm not that girl, and I don't love when people box me in and treat me just like an LA girl. I am my own individual. And this is for men and women. Just everybody. I think that people sometimes have a hard time individualizing people. And so there are moments where I've even been disappointed with friends because they're cheering me on for something because it's normal and kind of worldly. They're like, yeah, girl, you go. And I'm like, no. I did not want to do that. Like, I need you to hold me accountable. Don't cheer me on because you think that's what I want to hear. Hold me accountable because you know who I am as a person, as Joy. And you should know that based off of all these conversations we've had. Don't treat me like you. Don't treat me like anybody else, please. And I try to do that with other people. And so imagine my surprise. I shouldn't even be surprised because people, they don't treat you like an individual. They just don't. People aren't asking to be an individual. Everybody wants to be in a group and have group thought and be a part of some cult, it seems like. And I'm like, I just want to be me. Please let me. And if you don't, it is what it is. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. You can hate me. You can like me. It's going to affect me the same way. It's not going to affect me. That's really what's going to happen. And so had a cool conversation, exchanged numbers. And this is not to put anybody on blast because, you know, I'm not telling anybody about this series right now. But it's just, you know, it's just a thought. I'm like, why does this happen? And I'm fairly certain I almost came off a little prude in this conversation because I somehow get coined as this good girl, which I don't love that, but you know, whatever. Maybe it's better than not. And that was that. End of the night, I think maybe he texted me the next day. We hung out very, very briefly, had some food, and I just remember there was this like one remark that I didn't like. And for me, it still is no expectations, but at the same time, I have to be cognizant, and I am mentally cognizant of spending any time with a new friend that is a single male who knows I'm a single woman. So I just have to like walk with caution, still be myself, but know that there are certain things that people can misconstrue. That sometimes if you spend time with a person, they might see that as, oh, she's interested in ... And I'm not. But I'm not really going to hold too much against you because I also want to treat you like an individual and understand that you have a past and you have patterns possibly from that past that you still have to break, or you just haven't known me for long enough to really know what I stand on. You know, so I'm like, I'm going to give people grace because I understand I have been that person in the past, which, you know, is what it is, where I say something and I have an ideal situation, but then in practice and in reality, it doesn't always hit that. But now those things are really coming together so much more for me that when I'm standing on something and I tell you my values, I kind of tell you, give you insight on who I am, believe me, like cater and pivot based off of what you've heard about me from my mouth. If you think that based off of our conversation, I'm a good girl, you should probably not say certain things or just be, you know, a little more thoughtful. And again, it could just be you have to unlearn patterns, you have to learn new people and, you know, approach everybody differently. So not holding against you. However, it seems as though you are not taking the data that you've been given and approaching your next steps properly. So anyways, we hung out and there was something said, not anything crazy, but it just reminded me that, oh, so I'm a piece of meat, right? Like, it just made me feel like objectified. Like, I personally don't like being around the word sexy, ever. And that's not to say I don't consider myself sexy. That's never been something, a word I've really said. But it's not even that word. It's really just the whole physical attribute of it that throws me and kind of like gives me a little ick, where I'm like, okay, so you're looking at my body? I don't like that because it feels like you have completely disregarded any conversation and any refreshing moment that we had when we met. What about me in that conversation leads you to believe that that's something I'm gonna go for. Or I'm just gonna be like, oh, you think so? Let me show you more. Like, what? No, I don't want that. I want a friend. And I am dating, absolutely. I want to date, I love to date. But, if I'm not giving sexual or physical innuendos or like actual conversation, I don't think you should go there. And listen, you can go there, but just know I might get out real quick, because I'm at this stage like, oh, as soon as I meet you, I could unmeet you. And it's all love. Like, there's no beef, there's no bad blood, but I just don't want it. And I just think that it's become so second nature for everyone to just go into the physical, where people are even like, I just want to get it over with. Like, get over that initial like sex experience so that there is no sexual tension or whatever it is. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with that tension. I don't know what's wrong with chemistry without execution. But for me, let's have a conversation. It's not even about like, oh, you have to be emotionally intelligent and available or whatever. Like, obviously, yes. But I am just not at that stage at all. And it just reminds me that I really am in need of that like 5%. And I'm that 1%. I only need one. I want a lifetime partner. And that is not going to be built off of sex alone, or really, sex in the immediate. Physical touch. It's not going to be built off of physical touch. Physical presence, maybe quality time, acts of service. Those are things that I like and that really pique my interest and keep me interested, keep me engaged. And that's something that you learn over time. But I'm willing to do the work with anyone, because what's to say that any new relationship has to be romantic? Just because we're both single doesn't mean anything has to happen at all. We could be colleagues, we can be romantically involved. We could try to be romantic and turn into partners in business or just friends or whatever it is. And I know that there are people like that. I met someone recently that even like vocalized that, and I really respected that. And sometimes hearing it from a man is like, oh, so you just don't want to date me? That's kind of rude. Like, why are you making out with me then? But I feel really good about this stage of maturity in dating that I'm in. And though I am not here to waste my time, failure in moments, as long as it's not prolonged and you continue to do the thing that keeps knocking you down and has no indication that it's going to lift you up, I think it can be and is just a part of growth. Like, you get scratches and you get wounds and you get healed from that, and you learn how to pick yourself up, and you learn who you are. You learn to just dust it off. And so, I'm not even at the stage where everybody has to be a potential husband. Like, there could just be men that are good men in my life that I date for a season, and we both learn from that. But that person is never, at this stage and beyond, is not going to be someone that just wants to sleep with me, because it's not going to happen. And unfortunately, I've seen a couple men kind of disappear where it's pretty obvious at a certain point that there was never any interest, or there is no interest in having anything deeper. So really anything at all, because you will quickly notice that you're not going to get the physical from me, because that's not how I value myself. And I know it's going to get old. It just sucks how it is right now, and just how it is, period, that everybody's just sharing their body. I mean, There really is no, it's a personal thing for me, so I'll just speak to me. It's unfortunate that people have become so like immune and desensitized, I guess, to sex, that it just becomes obvious and a part of the dating journey, especially early on. And so I have to immediately, and I just offer up that information. I'm like, that's not what this is. I want to know that there's something deeper, period. Because it's not going to last. I mean, come on. You can't build a future off of that, because the physical is the first thing to fade and to go bye-bye, you know? So I want a partner that shares values. And then, yeah, physical comes for me with marriage, and it's just like something I'm practicing with my faith and making sure that I'm aligning myself properly to be a good wife for the husband that I want, and to really recognize and have discernment on people, so that I'm not being misled. And it is really nice to experience this journey. Like, I don't really get tempted in the same way before. And it comes with time and age and maturity for sure. My 20s were kind of a disaster. I learned from every experience. I'm so thankful that I am alive and healthy, you know. But yeah, I just have no interest in pretending that I'm this just like raging physical goddess that wants to just be up under you. Like, that will come when I like you. But you're really fumbling the ball right now for no reason. You actually don't have to. You could just be cool. Like, I know there's a cool person under there. All you men that want to just like be all touchy and like, ooh, it would be better if you were here tonight. Like, why? What would I do? It's just like, okay, I guess that has worked. Of course it does. Because you're not really going to do all of these things without it having benefited you in the past. So now I have to untrain these men, which I'm not going to do. But I'm just going to let you know how you should probably speak to me if you want to continue to speak to me, because you just won't hear from me. Or when you do hear from me, it's going to be honest. It's going to be kind, of course. I never want to just like smack somebody in the face with how I feel. But yeah, it's just very interesting to see even like past men that I've talked to you about in this mirror that have literally just like disappeared, like slowly, or actually maybe quickly disappeared. And it's like, you know, in hindsight, we never really spoke too much about like who we are, what we want to do, who we want to be, what our values are. I mean, maybe briefly, but it's almost been surrounded around the potential for some sort of like physical activity. And for me, you're gonna probably be a little disappointed because I'm keeping it PG, maybe PG-13. So, you know, you're gonna get out of there because you're not ready for a wife or like a partner. And I'm not saying that I'm ready to be a wife today, but maybe, yeah, for the right person, I think that I am, because I want to grow and my mindset is on marriage and being a good wife and whatever that means. And we have to be on the same page. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be physically into me, because if you're not, ugh, I don't want that either, where it's like, nah, she cool, she got personality. I don't want to be a personality hire. I want it to be like, wow, my girl is so cute and she's so fine, but she's so smart, and she like gives me so much peace and security, and I love spending time with her, and she just happens to be super cute. Like, that's what I want. So, you know, I'm willing to wait. And I've been seeing the potential in some people as well. Not with the full package necessarily, but I'm well on my way, and it's only January. It's still January, so I've got some time. I'm like, I might just mess around and meet my husband this year because I'm on go. But, crossing off the list. And that is something I can add to this list. Somebody that doesn't lead with physical touch. That is not my top love language at all. I don't want you to be repulsed by touching me, but I don't want you to overly speak about my physical attributes, like especially my body. That's not my face. When I feel like there is an overwhelming amount of like sexual innuendos, I'm just gonna tune you out because now I just think you see me as an object and you are seeing me as a placeholder for whatever lustful needs you have that can be resolved with someone else. You can find that somewhere else. There are plenty of people that are totally fine, being taken out and having sex after a month, after a week, after a night, whatever. That's just not me. So ultimately, you really have to watch what you say to people. Like, you don't have to ask me for consent before you make a statement, but just treat me like an individual based off of the knowledge that you are acquiring about me. Cater your speech to that. If you consider me to be a good girl, then talk to me like a good girl. Talk to me like you would want someone to talk to your sister or your mother or your daughter. Just talk to me with respect and take out the physical component for now. Like, I just want to get to know you. And I'm sorry, but you don't get access to my body at all. Like, it's a little soon, buddy. If you want that, I hear Pornhub is really up in the ante. People are just throwing it away, giving it away. It's consent, but it's not me, and it's not gonna be me. I have no reservations. I have no regrets. So, yeah, physical touch is for the streets, and your girl, I guess I don't have street mentality. So that is a recent finding, and I love it. I love where I'm at, and this has been a great rant in the girls' room. I'll see you soon.